Parliament. Had to go in. My artwork. Running a bit late. Oh, what the hell is that? Recording a little bit. They normally get weird when you start recording, so I'm not going to record too much. I'm actually in the Parliament, so I'll record as much as I can. I do know that they get annoyed when you record, so I don't know what room I need to go in. I don't know.
Are you all set then?
Obviously, I've got the horns. I'll quickly do it while I'm still here and see what happens. Hiya. Yeah, I'm the artist. How you doing? You okay? Can I just go through and... I'm not sure if I'm allowed to film, but... I don't know if I'm allowed to film there, but artwork still not done. I've got a bit more done. I don't know if you're allowed to record. See me with my artwork.
It's going to be an evening where we will be hearing from various speakers, hearing from various readings. But before we start, what I wanted to remind you all was that it is the 100th anniversary of JALLIANWALA BAGH. That is the reason why we are here this evening. And I hope that you will be reflecting upon that during the course of this evening. Now, all of you should have received postcards. There may have been postcards handed out to you. There may have been on your seat when you came to sit down. There are still some more at the front. Those are postcards to put down your reflections. Your reflections of tonight, your reflections on JALLIANWALA BAGH, 100 years later, whatever you wish to put down, that is your opportunity to do so. And we are collecting those for the purposes of posterity, so that we can see what people's views, thoughts were 100 years, virtually to the day since the horrendous event took place. Without further ado, I'm going to be handing over to Aya. Aya is now going to say a few words on behalf of the Grand Front Project.
Thank you very much to Aya and Jasmine for organising this evening's event as we commemorate the 100th anniversary of JALLIANWALA BAGH. Unfortunately, Lord Bourne, our Minister for Faith, cannot be here this evening, but he sends his best wishes for a successful event. I'm Hardik Beagle, I'm the Director for Communities of the Ministry of Housing, Communities and Local Government. And I'm proud that we were able to provide funding for the Grand Trunk project, helping to share stories of the partition of India in 1947 and its impact on communities. And last year we also supported projects to bring the contribution and sacrifice of Indian soldiers in World War I to a wider audience, encouraging British children and their parents of all backgrounds to be educated about their shared history. This is a great evening. It will give us an opportunity to learn more about what's happened as we hear the accounts of those who were there through some of the work that Amadee
actually does. It tells a story through their voices and through their images. As Jazz rightly pointed out to me when he asked me to speak, history is about contexts, and I want to lay out just some of the historical context before marshalling a few of the facts about the massacre itself. So if I could take you in a time machine and take you back to Amritsar of 1919, you'd see that it's a very different city to that which it is today. It's, the first thing that would strike you would be the people, because of course Amritsar today has been ethnically cleansed. It's been stripped of its Muslim population, just like cities in Punjabi, Pakistan have been stripped of their Hindu and Sikh inhabitants. But the Amritsar of 1919 was about 45% Muslim. It was a Muslim city, had Islamic culture coursing through its veins. Slightly fewer in number, about 40% were Hindu, and Sikhs made up something like 10 or 15% of the population. Smaller even than that was a tiny minority of highly influential Christians. But Amritsar, like many of India's really important pre-modern cities, hangs off that 2 millennia old Grand Trunk Road which connects Kabul to Calcutta. And over 1,000 years, caravans of camels have made Amritsar into one of India's preeminent trading cities. But in the years preceding 1919, the relatively new railway tracks had connected Amritsar to very, very quickly and very efficiently to the rest of British India. And it was north of those railway tracks, and if you know the city, I'm sure many of you have been there, you know that the railway tracks run north of the city, but north of that was where the British civil administrators, governors, policemen, and their families lived, in an area still known today as civil lines. Very small in number, but are absolutely pivotal in their influence and control over the cities, inhabitants, and indeed the country that they
Here's the toilets. This is in Parliament, you're not supposed to record. But I'm being... I don't know you. Oh, right. Shouldn't really... Yeah, but look how posh the toilets are in Parliament. This is where all the money goes. Look at that. This is exclusive. Exclusive. Look at that, exclusive. Yeah. No, you don't get this anywhere else. Apart from Rod Speaker's Corner. Go and see the toilets. I have to take my bloody belt off. I've lost so much weight that I had to take my belt off. My trousers nearly fell down on the floor. So I was taking my belt off because you have to do a security search. So I didn't realise. So look, I was like, all right, and my trousers nearly fell down. I would have given my right little show. All right, so it's quite posh. Not gonna lie. Look at that, posh. I wonder if the water comes out posh. Oh, very nice. Very nice. Yeah, I feel I'm just a number now, look. I'm 1504. Actually, that's the 15th of the 4th. Alright, so I'm not a number. Okay, mad. Well, it's not 826, you're mad. Time's wrong. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, you've got to see the toilets of Parliament. I feel like a naughty school kid because I could get in trouble for doing this. So I have to be careful. I've got to be careful. Which way is it? Okay, so look at these paintings and stuff. Before I get in trouble. Look at that.
This was a riotous crowd in Bismarck. They were defying the curfew that he had imposed, very ham-handedly, I might add, just the night before. He didn't see babies, he didn't see held by their mothers, he didn't see raucous children. Churchill, who was a Secretary of State for war in Parliament in 1920 when the massacre was first debated. He says, "The crowd was unarmed except with bludgeons. It was not attacking anybody or anything. When fire had been opened upon it to disperse it, it tried to run away, pinned up in a narrow place considerably smaller than Trafalgar Square with hardly any exits, and packed together so that one bullet would drive through 3 or 4 bodies. When fire was directed upon the centre, they ran to the sides, then fire was directed to the sides. Many threw themselves down on the ground, and then fire was directed on the ground. If the road had not been so narrow, the machine guns and the armoured cars would have joined in. Finally, when the ammunition had reached the point that only enough remained for the safe return of the troops, after 379 persons, which is about the number gathered together in this chamber today, had been killed, and when most certainly 1,200 more had been wounded, the troops, at whom not even a stone had been thrown, swung around and marched away." Now, in the century that's followed, the contentions around the massacre are focused on things like the numbers, the apology, the reasons that Dyer did what he did on that day. And these have been picked apart by historians, by politicians, by commentators. But today, I think it's wholly appropriate that we actually hear from the people who were there.
Indeed, thank you for that. That's a very powerful reminder of just the circumstances in which JALLIANWALA Bagh occurred, the circumstances in which the British Empire was holding British India, as it was known at the time, and also understanding a bit more the background, the knowledge about what people were thinking at that time, why people may have been anxious, but also the horrendous events which took place on the 13th of April 1919. So thank you for that. But also thank you for putting together this book, which has helped us improve our understanding of what exactly it means to have been alive at that time. Now, in respect of this book, we're going to be having readings from those testimonies taking place. If I could ask the people who are in the audience who have readings 1 to 6 to come to the front.
In the Bagh, there was a very large crowd, so big that people could not hear. There were many of those who could not hear, who were sitting on the grass, and the children were playing about. It was the Vaisakhi festival, and the shops were closed, and there was nothing to do. And when the lecture was announced, the people came there. Some people were sitting down playing cards. Some were coming, others were going. Many people had come from the country, as far as from Peshawar and Rawalpindi, because it was the Vaisakhi fair.
Lama Karam Chand, a local bank accountant, went with a friend to the bank.
The party was led to JALLIANWALA Bagh by a guide and arrived at a small alley just about broad enough for 2 men walking abreast. This necessitated leaving the 2 armoured cars behind. The General Officer Commanding, Dyer, Colonel Morgan, Mr. Rahill and myself got out of the motor and advanced up the alley, the troops following us. Coming to the end of the alley, we saw an immense crowd of men, packed in a square, listening to a man on a platform who was speaking and gesticulating with his hands. It was very hard to estimate the size of the crowd. The General asked me what I thought the numbers were, and I said about 5,000.
Captain F. Briggs, Dyer's brigade major, described the moment they entered JALLIANWALA Bagh.
We went running at once to the right, where there is a passage. I rushed towards the passage and heard the soldiers firing. There were many who rushed there before me and after me. The people were all running when the firing began. The soldiers came in and formed into a line at once, and there was no warning given at all. They began firing at once. I was near the Hansley passage when the firing began. The end of the passage was blocked by a wall as high as my chest, and so I could not get out quickly, but only one by one, when I got into the passage, I saw that people were being shot down behind me. I tried to crouch down and saw that the trapdoor of the Hansley was broken. So, in the crush, I managed to get down into it, one leg at a time. I got into the water, up to my thigh, at the place where the lid over it was broken. The other men slipped in.
Lala Karamchand and her friend ran for cover towards the northeastern corner when the main entrance was blocked by the soldiers.
When fire was opened, the whole crowd seemed to sink to the ground. A whole flutter of white garments, with however spreading out towards the main gateway, and some individuals could be seen climbing the high wall. There was little movement, except for the climbers. The gateway would soon be jammed. I saw no sign of a rush towards the troops. After a bit, I noticed that Captain Briggs was drawing up his face as if in pain and was plucking at the General's elbow. Mr. Plummer, Deputy Superintendent of Police, told the General during a lull that he had taught the crowd a lesson they would never forget. The General took no notice and ordered fire to be resumed, directing it particularly at the wall.
Sergeant W.J. Anderson, Dyer's personal bodyguard, described what happened after the orders of fire was given.
People behind now began to trample over me, and I had many blows and wounds to my chest. All my breath was taken out of me, and I thought I was dying. When the rush was over, I revived and got out from amongst the dead bodies and ran into the lane. I had no dhoti, only a shirt and a coat I had. I could not speak. I was stunned and went to some house. I don't know whose it was. Just then I heard someone saying, "They're coming back again." I rushed out and fled down another lane. On the road I was so thirsty I could not run or stand anymore. I took some water from an old woman at the well and asked for a lamberty. Then I began crying. Has anyone seen my child? No one had seen him. I ran home and found my son had not yet reached her. My relatives went out in all directions to find him. After half an hour, the boy came back himself.
33-year-old perfume maker Pratap Singh was sitting near the speaker's platform with his son when the shooting began.
I fired and continued to fire until the crowd dispersed, and I considered this is the least amount of firing which would produce the necessary moral and widespread effect it was my duty to produce if I was to justify my action. If more troops had been at hand, the casualties would be greater in proportion. It was no longer a question of merely dispersing the crowd, but one of producing a sufficient moral effect from a military point of view, not only on those who were present, but more especially throughout the Punjab. There could be no question of undue severity.
The logic behind Dyer's actions is he later explained it in an official report.
Readings. I'm now going to ask Jasdeep Singh who has come forward. Jasdeep is going to now do a musical.
years old, in agony, entreated me not to leave the place. I told him I could not go anywhere leaving the dead body of my husband. I asked him if he wanted any wrap, and if he was feeling cold. I could spread it over him. He asked for water, but water could not be procured at that place. I saw other people at the BAGH in search of their relatives. I passed my whole night there. It is impossible for me to describe what I felt. Heaps of dead bodies lay there, some on their back and some with their faces upturned. A number of them were poor, innocent children. I shall never forget the sight. I was all alone the whole night in that solitary jungle. Nothing but the barking of dogs or the braying of donkeys was audible. Amidst hundreds of corpses, I passed my night crying and watching. I cannot say more. What I experienced that night is known to me and to God.
A local resident, Rathan Devi, recounted her harrowing experience waiting by the side of her husband's body.
A shot to save the British Raj, to preserve India for the Empire, to protect English men and English women who looked to me for protection. And now I'm told to go for doing my duty, my horrible, dirty duty. I had to shoot. I had 30 seconds to make up my mind what action to take, and I did it. Every Englishman I have met in India has approved my act, horrible as it was. What should have happened if I had not shot? I and my little force would have been swept away like chaff. And then what would have happened? If I had done anything wrong, I should be court-martialed. But there's been no suggestion of that. I've never been heard of my own defence.
An extract from Dyer's interview in the Daily Mail, 5th of May 1920, the day he arrived back in Britain.
My son, Madan Mohan, aged about 13 years, along with his playmates, used to visit his open square for play almost daily. On the 13th of April last, he went there as usual and met his tragic end. Having been shot in the head, which fractured his skull, he bled and died instantaneously. I, with 8 or 9 others, had to search for about half an hour till I could pick up his corpse, as it was mixed up with hundreds of dead bodies lying in heaps there, who met their respective ends under circumstances well known. This is how my innocent child, of innocent age, was murdered by those who allegedly acted in the name of justice, law and order.
When the British authorities called for the residents of Amritsar to submit the names of relatives killed at JALLIANWALA BAGH, Dr. Mani Ram, a dental surgeon, was among the respondents. He was eventually awarded 8,362 rupees in compensation for the losses.
While General Dyer saved India, the politicians are saving themselves at his expense. It is a burning reproach to the British nation that such a thing should be possible. But the politicians have the power, and the only appeal is to the generous instincts of the people. In spite of the specious loss put upon the case by those who, while reaping the benefits of General Dyer's action, find it convenient to escape the responsibility for it, there are thousands of men and women in England who realise the truth, that the lives of their fellow countrymen in India hung upon the readiness of a General Dyer to act as he acted. It is to those men and women that we appeal to do what is in them to redress the callous and cynical wrong that has been done. General Dyer has been broken.
The launch of an appeal to patriots for funds for the benefit of Dyer by the right-wing newspaper Morning Post on 8th of July 1920. Dyer was lauded as the man who saved India and ultimately received more than £26,000.
In the ordinary English primer, the only thing the ordinary person learns about British rule in India is about the Black Hole of Calcutta and the massacre of Cornwall, when there was a road choked with corpses. Centuries hence, you will find Indian children brought up to this spot.
Just as I visit now the Corn War ground, and you can imagine the feelings of these Indians for generations of this terrible business. Think what all this means. You will have a shrine erected there, and every year there will be processions of Indians visiting the tombs of the martyrs, and Englishmen will go there and stand bareheaded before them.
Comments made by the radical Labour politician J.C. Wedgwood in the House of Commons on the 22nd of December 1990.
I'm now going to be inviting Amani Saeed to come forward and to read a...
Before I start, I'd like you all to close your eyes for a minute, if that's okay. And I'd like you to picture something for me. I'd like you to picture the warmth of the sun on your skin, and the feeling of grass beneath your feet, and the scent of flowers. Here are no nightingales, but crows cry loud. Dark black moths make for hum of the beetles. The buds too in half bloom meet with thorns here. Those plants, those flowers, are dry and scorched. Fragranceless pollen is rotten into oblivion. This lovely garden lies all drenched with blood. Come, dear spring, but come quietly. This is a mourning place, so cause no commotion. Let the breeze blow, but only mild, so that it blows away not the sorrowful sighs nightingale may sing, but only a dirgeful tune. Buzzing beetles here tell tales so tough. Bring along flowers, but let hues be not too bright. The fragrance be mild, somewhat wet with dew, but do not carry them with a gifting intention. Shed just a few for the prayers in memory. Gentle boys have succumbed to bullets here. Ring and lay down here the delicate buds. Hearts full of hopes have also been pierced here. Dear families of ours have departed from this nation. So make offerings of a few half blooms here. Recalling memories of them, let the dew of tears flow. The elderly have died a suffering death of bullets. Let drop a few dry flowers over there. Do all of this, but do come quietly. This is a mourning place, so cause no commotion. Do all of this, but do come quietly. This is a mourning place, so cause no commotion.
Thank you, Amani. I was talking about artists, I was talking about poets, I was talking about cultural heritage. One of the ways in which the artists have shown their own reflections on what happened 100 years ago is through art, is through paintings, is through etchings. And we have two pieces here today. We have one which has been created, the pencil drawing by Raj Tuttle.
Yeah, well, pentacular artist, as I'm known as well.
Pentacular artist. We also have a piece which has been created by the Singh twins. And the Singh twins piece is called JALLIANWALA, Repression and Retribution. It's currently on display at the Manchester Museum. Sadly, the Singh twins couldn't join us this evening, but they have provided some words which I will be reading out on their behalf to give context to their piece of work.
As Jasmine mentioned, unfortunately they couldn't be here today, so I will be reading this, which gives context to their wonderful piece of art. Like so many state autocracies of the past, knowledge about the massacre was suppressed at the time and has remained a largely hidden episode in modern history. We wanted to create an artwork that made the story of the massacre accessible to a wider public, not only because it represents an important aspect of shared history that had lasting impact on Indo-British relations, but because its complex narratives, the politics of division and violence today. So the artwork responds to the commemorations. It's an opportunity to reinforce the importance of the right peaceful protest. It also carries a positive message of the Hindu-Muslim unity, so central to the story, which India and Pakistan, as two nations who share the same Punjabi heritage and experience of imperial oppression, have sadly forgotten, it seems, but would do well to remember and build on, against the political tensions which have existed between them since the partition of 1947. The artwork also provokes questions about the nature of the empire and its modern-day legacies, not least the repeated calls for a formal apology. For this reason, a main focus of the artwork is a quote from a journalist of the day, Benjamin Horniman, 1920, giving an account of the aftermath of the massacre, which reads, "Is it surprising that the wounded lay in their agony, that the dead lay in the hot atmosphere of an April summer night, that the vultures and jackals come to tear flesh from the bones of the innocent victims of this dreadful Holocaust, while the anxious relatives remain terrified in their houses?" This account really brought home to us that this massacre is about real people whose lives were cut short, whose families were torn apart by the horrors of April 1919. So our artwork is not just about representing the massacre itself, but about giving voice to the generations who have had to live with this for over the past century. It's said that time heals, but reading the heartbreaking accounts of relatives still affected by the horrors 100 years later, it's clear that there are still some scars which only a formal apology can begin to heal. Whilst we still hope that this will be forthcoming, we personally feel that an apology alone would be far too little too late. And what's also needed are reassurances that the story will not be forgotten for another 100 years, but will be taught in schools so that the future generations grow up with a better understanding of the nature of the empire and how it's impacted the society we live in today.
I'm now going to ask from spectacular artists to just come forward to say a few words as well about this piece.
Okay, so I've just been invited like a couple of days ago, so I wasn't prepared to give a speech or anything. So I started this 3 weeks ago and was asked by Jagdev Verdi, and it's part of two pieces. One of the pieces I did put up, but I respectfully took it down, which is of Autumn Singh, and I will be exhibiting that at other places together because they kind of match each other. Autumn Singh, I'm not sure if this story is true, but I have Autumn Singh in the picture as well as a 20-year-old giving water, and he's kind of prophesying events to come in the future. General dies, isn't it? It's not 100% complete. I've got it to around 80% at the moment, so there's a lot of work still to do, so I'd appreciate people don't kind of poke or touch it because it's not sprayed. And I wanted to kind of capture the kind of like, you know, the ferocity of what happened and the savagery. And so I've got some bits in it out, probably not child friendly, but you know, when you look close up, you'll see kind of, you know, what really happens when bullets start flying about and you have kids and children and women and stuff like that. So there's a lot of people dying, and there's a well in there as well. I'm not sure if that's the exact position, but I just symbolically, I'll put it there so you can see if you go close in, you can actually see them jumping into the well. So that's pretty much what I want to say. If anyone's got any more questions they want to ask, I'll be here to the end anyway. Thanks for having me.
JALLIANWALA BAGH. Many of us have seen the bullet holes, have seen the walls, have seen the gardens, are aware of the background, are aware of some of the stories, and we feel it. We feel that pain. 100 years have gone on, 100 years have passed, but that pain hasn't disappeared. That pain is still as fresh as it was 100 years ago. And that's the reason why it's important for us to remember, and for us to continue to remember. Because it's very easy for us to end up in a world where events such as what happened in JALLIANWALA BAGH on the 13th of April 1919 could very easily happen any time in the near to distant future. If we don't remember where we come from, how will we ever know which is the path that we should be heading in? And another aspect of this is that it's part of our united identity as people of South Asian heritage, but also people who are British. Many of us being born and bred here, and yet thinking that it was our army who did this to people of our heritages, our backgrounds. It could have been easier being our great-great-grandfathers, great-great-grandmothers who were caught up in a shooting, very easily. If that had happened, we may not be here today. Those sorts of things are very important for us to bear in mind and to continue to reflect upon. I did say earlier, today's Antonite is a historic evening, not just in respect of looking at the history, but also thinking about 100 years on from JALLIANWALA BAGH. Would any of the people who were massacred on that day, would any of their families, any of their friends, would any of them have imagined that the Houses of Parliament of the United Kingdom will be hosting a memorial event to remember them who died 100 years ago? Would they have imagined that many of us who are here tonight will be living in the UK, would be British? None of those are thoughts which would have crossed their minds at all. And yet here we are. And so it's important for us to remember our identities as they are today, but it's also important to remember where we have come from, and to never forget that. And as part of that, also to remember and bear in mind that it wasn't just a Sikh event. It wasn't just Sikhs who were killed. There were Hindus who were killed, there were Muslims who were killed. I was talking recently to somebody from the Archbishop of Canterbury's office, and he was saying how there were Christians who were killed. Anglican, I believe it was an Anglican priest who was killed in the shooting. This affected everyone in the South Asian continent, not just the Punjabi community, not just the Sikh community. And I think it's always important for us to bear that in mind when we think about JALLIANWALA BAGH, and we remember exactly what happened 100 years ago. Now, as part of that, I'm now going to be inviting 4 individuals to come forward to give prayers on behalf of the Hindu, Sikh, Muslim and Christian communities. So if I could ask Prerna Bhardwaj, Swinder Kaur-Kaptana, Simon Zia and Andrew Smith to come up to the podium.
Thank you, Jazz there. And you heard my name's Prerna Bhardwaj, firstly from the City Hindus Network. I've recently been elected chair, and we've heard horrific accounts of what took place 100 years ago in JALLIANWALA BAGH. So I'd like to say a short prayer, Sarvesham Swasthi Bhavatu, and it's taken from the Upanishads. It's a prayer for universal peace, to keep the ideas of goodwill and peace in our hearts and minds, and ultimately reducing the suffering of the world. There's been lots of suffering in the past, unfortunately, and sadly there's still lots of suffering in the world today. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May there be well-being in all. May there be peace in all. May there be fulfillment in all. May there be auspiciousness in all. Om, peace, peace, peace. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Saima, and I am the General Secretary of the Association of Muslim Lawyers. So I will be reciting verses 153 to 157 of Surah Al-Baqarah, which is chapter 2 of the Holy Quran, and I will be explaining some of the virtues of these verses. Believers seek help in patience and in prayer. Allah is with those that are patient. And do not say of those who are killed in the way of Allah that they are dead. They are alive even though you have no knowledge of their life. We shall certainly test you by afflicting you with fear, hunger, loss of properties and lives and fruits. Give glad tidings then to those who remain patient. Those who when any affliction smites them, they say, verily we belong to Allah, and it is to Him that we are destined to return. Upon them we
will be the blessings and mercy of the Lord, and it is they who are rightly guided. Amen. So as these verses contain many virtues, it talks about the importance of having patience during times of hardship. When the verses talk about patience, it doesn't mean about remaining silent or hiding in collar to say to yourself that you're patient. Patience means speak and act upon the truth and bear the hardship without weakness or giving in. And that's what our brothers and sisters killed in the JALLIANWALA massacre demonstrated. There was a unity of people or religion, classes and castes, peacefully protesting for their rights and the long-term struggle against British colonialism. They remained steadfast and found to the very last day. Further, the verses remind us that we should not grieve for the people we have lost because we cannot see them. They're not here with us. They're alive with God. So again, the brothers and sisters who sacrificed their lives in the massacre, they fought for humanity, for equality, for freedom, for religion. Therefore, they're not gone. They're alive with God, and they're here with us in spirit, reminding us of their courage and their sacrifice to face. They inspire us to have that courage to stand on what is right and protect the truth. Thank you.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
100 years on, as we remember the departed souls at JALLIANWALA BAGH, the massacre that took place on the 13th of April, 1919, let us all look to a sentiment of strength, for love and compassion, as a tribute to those souls who lost their lives on that deeply sad day in Amritsar. Of course, firstly as humans and then as Sikhs, there is a huge sentiment of hurt and perhaps even anger within our hearts. Taking us back hundreds of years before the events of JALLIANWALA BAGH had even unfolded, our beloved Sri Guru Arjan Dev Ji beautifully created a better world for humanity. Again, not forgetting the tragedy that took place on that fateful day of the 13th of April 1919. As humans and individuals, our very essence can be tarnished by scars we do not allow to heal ourselves, myself included. Maharaji states that this in the Gurbani as follows. Tangu tokha kehe vyape jago or tuhari. This merely translates to, how can betrayal hurt when you protect me? Tonight I echo the same sentiment of peace in the heart of British Parliament. Please may I ask you to kindly take a moment joining me to recite the Mool Mantras. Ek Onkar Satnam Karta Purkh Nirbhav Nirvair Akal Murth Ajuni Sarvam Gur Prasad Jap Ad Sach Jugat Sach Hari Sach Nanak Hosi Bhi Sach. This translates to God is one. Trust in God's name, the doer of everything, without fear, without revenge, existed in the undying form. Beyond birth, he is self-illuminated. The understanding comes from Guruji's grace. Job is meditate. Truth in the beginning, truth throughout the ages, true here and now. Nanak forever and always true. With this, I ask for forgiveness. Understandably, as Sikhs, this has been and is still a journey of turmoil for us all. May Maharaji bless each and every soul within this room with the courage and space for healing. On the behalf of City Sikhs and myself, thank you. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa,
Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Good evening, my name is Andrew Smith and I'm the Director of Interfaith Relations for Bishop David Urquhart, the Bishop of Birmingham. I've actually had the privilege of visiting JALLIANWALA BAGH on 2 occasions, and both times found it to be humbling and a deeply profound place to visit. A place that has now been turned into a garden of great beauty and peace, as I'm sure you'll know, and yet one where there is this palpable sense of sadness and horror at those appalling events, and it was a great privilege to be able to visit on those occasions. The Church of England in Birmingham was very keen to mark this centenary, and so we had a special prayer written that was read in Birmingham Cathedral on Saturday, and was read at an interfaith Vaisakhi event that Bishop David hosted last week. And I would just like to read this prayer to you now. Faithful God, in whom justice and mercy are held together, hear our prayers as we remember before you the victims of the JALLIANWALA BAGH massacre. Give healing to those still living under the shadow of violence, and protection to all who come in peace. Grant to us all the gifts of insight and compassion, that we may be willing to surrender the lure of power for love of one another. For the sake of your Son, Jesus Christ, who gave up his life for us upon the cross, and is alive and glorified with you and the Holy Spirit, one God now and forever. Amen.
And now at the end of tonight's event, the City Hindus Network, City Sikhs, the Faith Forum for London, and the Grand Trunk Project for coming together to create tonight's event. I'd like to thank each of the speakers tonight: Hardeep Begal, Amandeep Singh Madar, Amani Saeed, Jasdeep Deegan for his musical performance, the artists, the Singh Twins and Pentacular Artist, each of the individuals who have given prayers this evening: Surinder Slimer, Prema and Andrew. I'd like to also thank Aya Gadali, who has put in a lot of time and effort in order to pull tonight together, so thank you so much. And if it wasn't for that hard work, I don't think we would have been able to pull tonight together, to be quite frank. And more importantly, most importantly, I'd like to thank each of you for coming along this evening to be part of this commemoration, to be part of this particular event. As I said earlier, you have your postcards. There are more postcards over there. Please do jot down your reflections, put down what your thoughts are, put down what you're thinking. It would be good to have those so that we can keep them for the future. Thank you so much for coming along this evening.
Baji, good damn man. Where was you at Gravesend, man? Oh, yeah. I saw Baji down there. He looks good, man. No, he's come out of everything.
So, Jazz was the Dari.
Yeah,
so you were a pod as well?
Yeah, Dari, everything. So, I'm still doing this drawing though. It's taking ages, man.
Oh, it's beautiful, though.
I had the autumn sing one up as well. Got the picture here, but I'm not allowed to put this one up. I'm gonna get in trouble. So they're supposed to sit side by side, but this is too controversial, they said. There's Autumn Singh. That's him when he's 20, and this is him when he's 40. So. Oh, sorry. Don't worry, I'm turning upside down. My name's Raj.
No, but you're
I go by the name Pentacular Artist. It's not finished yet though. So. I'll go back a bit. Yeah, Andy.
Why are you not supposed to?
Because it's a bit controversial. It's Autumn Singh. Obviously assassinating General O'Dwyer, and they're supposed to sit side by side because you've got Autumn Singh here at 20, and then you've got Autumn Singh at 40, kind of prophesizing what he was going to do. So I had it up, but they told me to take it down. I'll turn it upside down actually, unless people want to ask for it. Yeah, it's all done by pencil. This one's not finished though, it's still got around 20% to do. So it's a little bit rough. If you go close up, you'll see that there's still lots of little bits and pieces I need to sort out. I think I've done around 15 hours every day for around 3 weeks. I haven't slept, let's just say that. Yeah. Because with pencils, if you make a mistake, I have to spend hours rectifying mistakes. So where there's a tree there next to the building, there's not really a tree there. I had to put it there because I tore the paper. So the only way I could cover it up was to chuck a tree in it. So it took me, I think, 3 hours just trying to repair the paper and getting it back to that stage. I'll just hold it. Once they come over, then I'll take it out. Andy? Yeah, so if you look, I haven't drawn it in properly yet. It's got a little jug. So at the moment, it's still not drawn in. Yeah, so that's one of the stories I've heard. I need to clarify what the true story is. They're just individuals I just kind of made up. So, yeah, I just wanted to kind of... don't let the little kids look, though, because there's a lot of bullets flying about and fingers coming off and heads getting blown off. Well, if you look at the soldiers, they're not drawn in. A lot of their faces, they've not got detail yet. So it's flat.
You know, you were saying that Shahid Udham Singh was not, but it was on the monitor.
Yeah, I know, but the yeah, so it's ending now. A lot of great feedback. Thank God. Still not finished, but it's getting there. You see, there's people kind of looking. So I'm quite happy about it. Sorry, go. Sorry. Yeah, so I'm not sure if you're allowed to record it. There's Bob over there. Bob. I'm going to be asking about a certain Mr. Singh. I'll be asking about. So let's see what he says about bug life. Because bug life is supposed to be his cousin. So let's see if he does know bug life. Because I was supposed to speak to him on. What is it? I was supposed to speak to him on. Never keeping his brains in. But here he is now. Bug life. Let's see if he knows you. I know you're from Birmingham. I know you're in your 40s. I know you hate Ugandan sheep. You think we're liars. I know you're a proud judge supremacist. So we'll have to see. There he is. Thank you, Baji. I really appreciate you letting me talk as well, man.
No,
thank you, man. Thank you. I was. Thank you. Yeah, so here's the.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you wrap it up, please? And
Oh, we need to.
out, please.
You can look at it quickly. So they're supposed to accompany each other. So that's Autumn Singh here when he's 20, and that's Autumn Singh at 40. So he's kind of prophesizing what's going to happen. Yeah.
Is it charcoal you use?
I use pencils and charcoal for the blacks. So the black charcoal gives it a bit more depth than pencils. Yeah, it's still not done though. It's still got a bit of work to do in it. Put some skin texture in.
Does it have a photo in their house?
Yeah.
But when without the bug though, it's simple.
Yeah, I've actually got the photo and just put a bug on it. So it's probably the same one that I got.
Have you?
Yeah. So I got the photo and then I just put a Dari and a bug on. So I drew his face and added it after.
This one's not finished yet, or both?
Both of them are not finished yet. So I was supposed to. Yeah, I was supposed. They were up together like this in the beginning, but then I was told to take it down. Thank you for coming, man. Can you just say sassy to mama? Sorry, the video. This is Jagdev Verdi, who's been inviting me to all these places. Really appreciate it. No, I'm going to be showing it to her. So I really appreciate everything you've done, man. I wasn't prepared for the speech, but I was glad I said a few things. But they don't let. I'll better turn this one upside down. I don't want to.
I don't know why this said.
Because he said he's got like MPs and stuff might walk in. So don't worry. I don't think I'm meant to record there, but that David Cameron up there. I'm not really there to record. I don't know what they're doing over there. Let's wait for. Photography. Oh no. Thank you very much. Leighton चल रहा है हाँ जी ईस्टलैंड से
That's very good.
हाँ जी
Hopefully we'll see meet again.
हाँ जी I feel very bad.
And I'll also seek to connect one of our advisory members on the board who's heading out to Guru Nanak University.
Yeah, I'm going to wait for you down here. Tell him to come down here. I'm just going to walk down. What is it here? Kind of being a bit nosy now. I don't know what's going on. Look at this. Guys, oh my God, look what they got here. Oh, Baji. Oh, yeah, come on. I'll just look at this. Look at this. What does that say? Look at this.
Wow, that's too funny, isn't it?
God, look what they've got in Parliament. Look what they're doing. Wasting freaking taxpayers' money. Putting this as a glass up. Come on, man. Yeah, he's actually got a sense of humour.
It's a funny racist type. This is your bag, isn't it?
That's not my bag. You've nicked someone's bag.
Is it really not your bag?
Seriously, Baji. Jordan.
Anyway, so do you want me to carry? You can do your excuse me.
Just follow me, please. Oh, hang on, guys.
What do you do? Oh, all right. What do you do? Look at me. Oh, sorry. Bye. I saw Maggie Thatcher's head and I got a bit excited. I saw Maggie Thatcher's head and I got a bit excited there.
I'm a child of the planet. I don't actually believe in very much. I believe in human beings, and I believe human beings don't have the right to go wherever you want. No, that's
God, look at all these people. Nice place, man.
So where's Raj? There you are.
I'm here, man.
Yes,
I'm here. Oh, what's this little escalator? What are we doing? Getting rounded up.
The protest finished then?
Nice place.
Are you on Twitter?
I am.
Because I think I've seen you.
Yeah, I'm mainly on Facebook.
Facebook. Oh, I don't like Facebook.
I don't like Instagram. Instagram's not good for eyes.
It's funny, some people I've seen, their faces are on Twitter, I haven't seen them like in real life.
Yeah. Who was the one that wrote the book? Feel pretty. Feel like I'm in some kind of. Feel like I'm in some kind of movie. Look at this. How you doing?
I'm alright, man. All right.
You look like you're going to war.
Every day is a war that we come back into it.
It's beautiful, though, isn't it? Did it? You are recording? Yeah, of course I'm recording.
Yeah. Make a video.
Come on, Buddy. Big up Bob. Big up Bob. Bob. When you come back to Speaker's Corner, Bob? I haven't seen you for ages, man.
Now the weather is going to improve.
Yeah. You want to look good. You want to wear your tight tops.
Well, not that. It's just basically, you can't have a discussion in the freezing cold.
I'm joking. Well, you can if you're dressed up like me, like Robo. See. Oh, okay, all right. Thanks a lot. Oh, sorry. I apologise. Sorry. What the hell do you?
Well, it's a bit of history, but
no, not like that.
Because we're here. It's a bit of history. Basically, this
We make this place. Without us here.
This is a private old boys private school. Yeah, for Etonians basically.
Oh, they're going to shoot us.
Raj, we'll go for a quick coffee.
Yeah. Yeah, and then. Oh, I can't even get through. No, sorry. Nearly fell over. I have problems with jumping over gates as well. I've got to get a little bit more fit, man. Lost like 2.5 stone though.
I was going to say, yeah, you look thinner, which is good. Well
yeah, I just need to get healthy now because I'm still pretty unfit. I know what. Boris Johnson. It looks like a shaggy dog. It's too skinny for Boris, man. How is this? Don't know what's going. It's a rave. We're going to a rave. It's a rave. What is this? Let's have a look what's going on. Having a good old time. What's this about? Dude, Bhangra. Actually quite relaxing, isn't it? Why don't we sit down here somewhere then and chat? Oh no, it's a bit.
No, we'll sit over to the side and
What are they protesting about? What's the protest about? What's the protest about?
Extinction Rebellion. Go against. I'm not the best person to sort of.
Don't worry, no stress, no pressure. So what is it? Just about what?
Consumption of
alright. They need to go start those people. Look like they're having a good time.
Yeah, well, they're all over the place.
Where's the vegans about it? It's a nice night for it as well.
Beautiful night.
We just had a stuffy program inside Westminster. So coming out to this is nice. Yeah, it's a nice little thingy. Anyway, thanks a lot, bro, man. How many, man? What do you think, Baji?
I think it's awesome that there's no cars in Parliament.
Oh yeah, right, yeah.
And it is so nice and peaceful.
They're still building the clock after how long?
There's no cars here.
Let's sit down for a minute, man. Come on, I need to ask you a question.
It's a day of action for all around the world. Look, that's where all the tents and everything, yeah?
Your planet needs you.
It's all about blocking up London against pollution. And
so is there normally Guddiyan around here?
Yeah.
So they've alright, just for today?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't realise. No, I've not been down here for a while, not in this little area.
Today is a day of action against climate change and making a difference, and the fact that the bee populations are getting killed off. And all this.
Surprised there ain't more people.
No, there was early on. London's jammed up. Earlier on, it was rammed.
I can ask you a question on the spot. Have you got a cousin in Birmingham?
No.
Oh, right. The plot thickens. That's right. Do you have a cousin who's maybe in his 40s who hates Ugandan Sikhs and thinks we're all liars?
No.
Do you have a cousin that says that Jats are supreme and the Khans are like shit?
No, definitely.
Do you have a cousin? Do you have a cousin that always goes on about all the Ugandan Sikhs are fake Sikhs and they're all liars? And he even says the Sikhs from Bahar, you know where we're going to go into? They're not real Sikhs. And he says you're his cousin. Pug life, you're exposed, man. You're not his cousin. The only reason I gave you a little bit of leeway because you started using Bob as oh, that's my cousin, that's my cousin, that's my cousin. So I let him go a little bit. Watch when I get you, pussy hole. Sorry, man. Right, I need to expose that because the thing is that. They got the popo. Who is that? Is that my... What's that? It is! Who's there? It's Gandhi. God. I didn't even realise it was Gandhi. It is Gandhi. It is. Alright. Can't see, but... It's actually Gandhi over there.
So just to let you know now, the mood of the public now is there's not enough police, they're overworked. Basically, there's no noise to
Please.